Hey, I'm Mike Gerard with Mammut. I'm here at the Ski Monster in Boston to talk with you about Mammut Avalanche Safety. Say you just bought your first ski touring setup or splitboard setup, or you've already got some of these tools but you're looking to upgrade. There's a lot to talk about here. I'll keep it sort of short and brief, but if you want really detailed, deep dive knowledge, we do have those from Dean Lords and Doug Workman. They're our Avalanche program professionals. They can run through all the really granular info. So just broad overview, we're going to talk about the main avalanche safety tools, your beacon, your shovel, your probe, and your avalanche pack. That would be the fourth item. But mandatory no matter where you're going, really any sort of avalanche terrain, you got to have beacon, shovel, and probe. Ours is called the Barryvox and the Barryvox S. These transceivers or beacons, you can use those interchangeably. They both have the same safety in the sense that they have the same search strip width and range, 70 meters, which means you can search 70 meters wide and 70 meters distance when you're in avalanche terrain looking for a buried victim. The only difference is your Barryvox S has a slightly larger screen. It has more detailed fine search functions, and it has analog and digital search, which means if you're an avalanche professional, you have a ton of signals, you can alternate between both modes to eliminate interference. So the Barryvox S would be, if you're more of a hardcore user, you need to have the really precise fine search, you know what you're doing, and you might be in large groups or guiding, teaching an area course, etc. The Barryvox base model will be just as safe, a little bit simpler in terms of guiding you to the buried target. And these have some really great redundancy features to make sure you're not accidentally switching it from one mode to another. Make sure you stay in search or send when you want to be. And it comes with a harness out of the box, so you can wear it as a harness if you want, or put it in a leg pocket with this clip. It do also comes with batteries, so everything ready to go out of the box. Do make sure that at the end of your season you take the batteries out so they do not corrode the contacts. Just another way, just like putting your skin savers on to prolong the life of your very expensive equipment and make sure it's safe and ready to go the next time you take it back out. So Barryvox and Barryvox S. Like I said, more detailed info both on Mammut's website and on theskimonster.com. If you want to accompany this with a shovel and probe, you can buy this also as a kit. The Barryvox packages, there are a few different levels depending on the type of shovel, the type of beacon, etc. The packages will get you a nice discount for getting all three things at the same time. Once again, just find those details on theskimonster.com. From beacons, we'll move into shovels. Mammut has beautiful shovels. We are the only brand in the industry that has UIAA certified shovels. UIAA is the same certifying body that certifies all climbing ropes and harnesses, that type of safety equipment. And what they do is make sure that all of these shovel blades are at least a minimum volume, that they sustain twisting and pulling strength tests, and that they have a telescoping handle that goes at least to a certain length. So even our smallest, lightest shovel will still have a big, long shovel handle, which is important for getting leverage, digging, and saving your friend. You got to remember, as you're buying shovels, probes, beacons, if you're counting every single gram, that's great to a certain point, but you have to still save someone's life with this. So at Mammut, we really care about this functioning well, having a strong handle, having nice serrated blade edge so it digs well. Big shovel, I use this to dig out my car. It's a truly functional shovel. A nice T-handle, and you also have this great detail with a little detent. So instead of having to find this little button to depress as you're trying to put your shovel together, your receiving end has a little detent which allows this to automatically depress and find its home there. It's also an oval as opposed to a round handle, so you can't accidentally put it in the wrong orientation. It will automatically go together the right way. All those little seconds, especially when you're panicking in the moment, just anything to make it really good, ease of use is valuable and potentially life-saving. We have different sizes and weights. from the Alligator Ride at the entry level all the way through the Alligator Pro Light Hoe, which is this blade size, long handle, D-ring for mittens, and even a hoe mode where this handle can go into the blade at a 90-degree angle for excavation or deep burial, multi-person digging scenario. So that's your Alligator shovel series. Find more about those on the skimonster.com or the Mammut website. The last thing to make sure you have in your kit is a good probe. The things that make a probe a good probe are ease of use, strong locking mechanism, minimal deflection, which means when you're using it to go through really heavy solidified avalanche debris that it's not going to be bending like a noodle and potentially breaking, and the strong locking mechanism to make sure that your sections are not pulling apart. I like probes 280 centimeters and up because you don't want to have a burial so deep that your probe's not quite long enough. 320 centimeters would be really for true pros or people in deep snowpack terrain. 280 feels like a good happy medium for almost every area. And then we have a 240 centimeter length, which is nice and lightweight, good for almost every scenario. And if you're skimo, low risk type environments, or you just want some practice in a non-threatening environment, you can go with that shorter length. So if you pull this out, you'll see we have this nice handle which clips onto the shaft here, as well as a great locking mechanism which we call speed lock. So one thing to make sure before you go out the first tour, make sure you know how these work, make sure everything works properly, that the buttons work on your shovel, that the probe sections are not tangled. The last thing you want to do is go to throw this out and everything's in a jumbled mess and you're playing 10 minutes untying it while your friend or loved one is under the snow. So we'll just do a little test deploy here. One last little pro tip is I like to hold the uppermost section of the probe in my hand, my left hand, with the string in my right hand, so that when I throw it out, I'm not fishing for the right section. The rest just lays there in my fingers. So we'll throw it out here. And once you get it all the way straight, it'll lock into place here, so that this way you're not accidentally having it separate or loosen. This you can now use to probe through the snow and get a probe strike and then start digging with your shovel. So there are different types of probes. Some of them are made with carbon. The main difference there is actually not in weight, but in stiffness. So the carbon probe will be about the same weight as this, but stiffer at the same length, and it has a slightly fancier audible clicking mechanism when you lock it out. And just make sure you pick the right probe based on your needs, the terrain you're going in, the average burial depth of an avalanche fatality, that kind of stuff. It helps to do your homework before you buy this type of equipment. You can get the probe, shovel, beacon as a kit, 3-in-1. We also have Avalanche Airbag backpacks with a removable airbag system, or RAS, which can go into many other brands' backpacks as long as they're RAS compatible. So that is your basic Mammut Avalanche Safety Kit.